Eddie Duggar was deployed in Vietnam as part of the 173rd Airborne Brigade. The 173rd Airborne Brigade was the first ground combat unit to be deployed in Vietnam. As Eddie Duggar rose through the ranks, he became a platoon sergeant in charge of a platoon. That would be in the smallest size 13, biggest size 30. They had a base camp with a landing zone in the central highlands of Vietnam on Bong Som. Throughout 1968 and 69, infantry companies within the 173rd Airborne Brigade regularly conducted search and destroy missions within their assigned areas of operation. Typically, a company would be sent out to the field and conduct assigned missions from 3 to 4 weeks. Infantry soldiers in the 173rd Airborne Brigade would often be required to walk great distances with rucksacks, weighing 60 to 90 pounds, depending on whether they were required to carry mortar rounds or M60 machine gun ammunition, along with their individual equipment, which included claymore mines, grenades, water, food, cans of sea rations, and their own ammunition. The terrain, which was often in mountainous regions, was frequently covered with heavy vegetation or elephant grass that significantly hindered forward movement. During the monsoon season, the soldier would expect to be soaking wet 24 hours per day. Although most soldiers in the company were issued ponchos, they were generally not allowed to wear them because of the noise they made while moving, but also because they would catch on limbs and vines and slow the soldiers' movement progress. By 1968, members of the 173rd Airborne Brigade had learned to stay off of trails because of ambushes and booby traps. At nightfall, the company would stop and set up a perimeter. Generally, several squads would be sent out from the company perimeter to set up ambushes. The typical sleep time would be 3 to 4 hours unless the soldier was sent out on ambush. Sleep time on an ambush was rarely over 2 hours. As a result of his involvement, Eddie Duggar received 3 Bronze Star medals, one with Valor. The Bronze Star Medal is the United States Armed Forces Individual Military Decoration that was awarded for bravery, acts of merit, and meritorious service. It is the 4th highest combat award of the United States Armed Forces. Eddie Duggar received 3 such Bronze Stars. Mr. Duggar participated in helicopter assaults while serving in Vietnam, which is validated by his noted award of an Air Medal, given that he was an infantry MOS. Eddie Duggar was awarded a Combat Infantry Badge in 1968, which requires that he was personally present and under hostile fire while serving in an assigned infantry unit. Military service may be relevant in determining whether a departure is warranted. If the military service, individually or in combination with other offender characteristics, is present to an unusual degree and distinguishes the case from the typical cases covered by the guidelines. Such is the case of Eddie Duggar's military service. From 1965 to 1971, 1,736 soldiers of the 173rd Airborne Brigade were killed in Vietnam. To place this in perspective, 1,618 soldiers and Marines have been killed in Afghanistan since October of 2001. During the period that Mr. Duggar was in Vietnam, 239 soldiers of the 173rd were killed in action. This number may be validated by the names of soldiers who served with the 173rd Airborne Brigade on the wall at Washington, D.C. at the Vietnam Memorial. To assume that a combat soldier after 42 years would have gotten over the experiences or trauma of combat and/or war is not substantiated by data.